Hello everyone, my name is Prakrity and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I decided I'm going to be walking you through my hair journey. I have been experimenting with my hair for the past few years and I thought I would just sit down and talk about my experiences, and I've tried to be as thorough and transparent as possible, letting you know the cost of everything, what was my experience like, what was the aftercare and aftermath of it, and would I do it again. So without any further ado, let's get started. So I have made notes about my hair so that I'm as factual as I possibly can be. So the first thing you need to know about me is that I used to not experiment with my hair at all, not even with the haircut, because I used to go in a defense school, very particular about our hair and our haircut. They did not want us to have layers in our hair because it would come out of the braids, and I used to not even get like fringes. Like I used to get like very long fringes that I could clip up because I did not want to get in trouble. For the longest time I used to just get a normal U-cut done in my hair. Then when I finally went to college, I was like, okay, this is going to be my poo moment. I'm going to experiment and be as stylish as I possibly can be, and that's when I started getting layers in my hair. So I used to do a deep U haircut with a few front pieces that are layered to frame my face. And to be honest, till this day, that's pretty much what I usually do. I just get a deep U with a few face framing layers. And around third year of college is when I started coloring my hair. And the sheer need for me to color my hair was born out of this very minute, insignificant inconvenience in my life. And like every other girl, like every cliche girl, my first response was, I need to color my hair. I understand the hype. I very much do. I support the cliche. I'll be very proudly part of the cliche because it works. I wanted a change. I wanted to look different, and I was able to do that. Now, talking a little bit about the hair color, I got a red balayage done at the Lakme salon in October of 2023. Now, I had called up a bunch of salons prior to know about the rates because I knew it's going to be expensive, and every other salon was charging on the basis of strands, and I knew I did not want like strand highlights. I wanted like a continuous color in my hair, and Lakme salon, they had like a fixed price. They did not charge per strand, so I didn't even go in for a consultation. I just blindly went in. I showed them this picture that was on my Pinterest board for the longest time that I wanted this color, found the perfect match, and I got right to it. So the entire appointment took about 3 hours minus the haircut. I did not get my hair cut at the Lakme salon. I got it cut from a local salon nearby because I knew the stylist and they knew my preferences. I think the overall cost of getting my hair cut and colored was around roughly 8 to 8.5 thousand rupees. Now immediately after cutting my hair, I had planned a trip to Udupi, and I knew I was going to be in water for a very long time. And this is where the aftermath of my balayage appointment comes into picture. The stylist had warned me time and time again. He kept re-emphasizing this point that I need to be aware of the bleeding. Now, I knew that it's not going to not bleed because I got a balayage treatment done, and basically there was a little bit of bleach in the color itself, but it's not like stripping down the actual color of my hair down to a blonde and then applying the vibrant color over it so that it would stick. So I knew that getting that treatment done, it's not going to stick in my hair completely. It's going to bleed off whenever I wash it. And he told me to use dark colored towels for a while, not to wear light clothing right after I wash my hair, and if possible blow dry my hair as soon as I can. And I just kept thinking, okay, maybe he's exaggerating. It's not going to be that bad, right? I stand corrected. First thing I did as soon as I reached was run to the beach. I ran to the beach, I dipped my head into the ocean, and I came out. And my sister squealed. She squealed and screamed looking at me. And I was like, what is going on? Why is she screaming at me? And that made me look at myself. And I was completely covered with red water from my head till my torso. It looked like someone shot me in the head and there was blood all over me. And that's when I realized, okay, maybe he wasn't exaggerating. So needless to say, the bleeding is bad. It's going to bleed a lot. And in that moment, my first thought was, oh, maybe I just wasted all my money, because if this is the amount of bleeding, it's not going to stay red for a very long time. But I was wrong, and I was so thankful I was wrong, because my hair was still that same vibrant red for a good few weeks, even after all the hair wash I did. Now, let me talk about a little bit of the aftercare that I did. I did not use any special shampoos, I did not use any special conditioners or masks, I did not change anything in my hair routine. It stayed pretty much the same, but the only thing I did do was I cut down on my washing frequency. I used to normally wash my hair like twice a week for college, but once I knew how bad the bleeding is, I tried to reduce the amount of times I would wash my hair so that it would prolong the color. So instead of washing it twice a week, I started washing it once a week, which worked for me fine. It didn't cause any disturbance in my routine, and I was sorted. Now, I did get my hair colored during the Diwali season, so it was a great addition to the festive season. I loved it. So now coming the age-old question, would I do it again? Of course. 1000% yes, I will do it again. I will go blindly to the Lakme salon and I will get my hair colored again, because I got some of my best pictures in that hair. I felt the most confident in that hair. It did wonders for my self-confidence. Now, I know you should not associate things like this with your self-confidence, but sometimes when life comes in like a wrecking ball, you're so distraught, you can't even look at yourself in the mirror. Like, I didn't take pictures of myself for at least a good 2 months before I got my hair colored. I didn't want to, which says a lot about me, because I literally live my life on the internet, and for me to not take a picture of myself for 2 months because I didn't like what I saw in the mirror says a lot. So the fact that just by spending a little bit amount of money, I could get that sense of, I want to take pictures again, I want to look at myself, I want to dress up, I want to feel confident, I want to feel beautiful again, I think it's worth it, and I would do it again. Now let's talk about the aftermath. So I knew fading was inevitable. It was not going to stay that beautiful red for a long time. And around December of 2025 is when it started fading into a reddish brown rather than like a reddish pink that I originally had. So it became more of a foxy brown color. And from January of 2024, it started entering its full-blown brown phase. It would still look red in the correct lighting, like some sunlight in some angles, it would still look red, but for the most part it was just looking like a very foxy brown. Once it entered its brown phase, I was not upset at all, because basically I got 2 colors for the price of one. If I would have gotten a brown balayage treatment done, I would basically be entering from this stage onwards. But I got a red balayage, it had its moment, and then it faded beautifully into this brown. So basically I had no complaints about it at all. And March to June of 2024 is when the fading completely stopped and it became this kind of a brown for a very long time. It just felt like my normal natural hair color, but with a little bit of dimension to it, and I was very happy. And I had this color on for the remainder of 2024. In 2025 is when the itch started to come to me again that I needed to color my hair. Around September of 2025 is when I bought my first Paradise hair tint. I had been seeing a lot of my friends and everyone around me talking about Paradise and basically how it's so easy to use. You can use it at home. The colors are very nice and it's pretty much a no bleach hair color, which technically speaking, no hair color is no bleach hair color. Every hair color out there has a little bit amount of bleach in it, because you need bleach to be able to lighten your hair so that the color picks up on your hair. Don't believe the no bleach claims of any hair color brand, because once you see the ingredient listing of any hair color brand, the first ingredient would be bleach. So there's no thing like no bleach hair color. Again, I wanted something very similar to the balayage treatment I got done at Lakme. Closest I could come to that in Paradise was their glossy hair tints. So I bought the glossy hair tint in the shade Velvet Burgundy. I did not want to color my hair red again because I wanted something a little bit muted. I was going to start working, going to office every day. I did not want a very loud hair color, not that my office would care, but I just didn't want to attract that much attention to myself. And also because I had been there, done that, I had my moment with my red. I wanted to explore new colors. So I felt like Velvet Burgundy, like a purplish color, would be more muted and more suitable. And it was pretty simple and straightforward to apply. just like my balayage treatment, it had no bleach, it just had a color that I had to mix up and apply. And I pretty much gave that entire responsibility to my mom. She applied my hair color for me, and yeah, this is what it would look like. Honestly, it did not look very different, and that is on me because I did not use the whole tube of color in one go. I basically used half of it and I kept half of it, thinking that okay, maybe it is so intense that I can just like retouch up after a few weeks when it fades again. But now looking back, the purple is so dull and so muted that you might need the whole tube for it to actually show up. The kit also came with this purple conditioner. You are supposed to use it 2 weeks after you have done your hair color so that it just revives it. But I again saved half of that conditioner and I would apply it after in like 2 weeks intervals so that I could like keep my hair purple for longer. Honestly, it did not stay purple for a very long time. It still bled, same as the balayage treatment, but the bleeding was less intense, which is obvious because the color is less intense. And now this is what the aftermath looks like. My hair is this weird brown again. So pretty much we just went full circle again. You can see how much I colored my hair from the slide. This part of it used to be purple and now this much is my natural hair color. I don't remember the actual cost of the Paradise. I leave it here. It costed about this much, which I got it at some discount, so it was in a buy one get one sale. So pretty much if you consider, I paid like 50% if you do girl math. Would I recommend it again? Not for the purple. Honestly, the color did not excite me. I was expecting something a little bit more intense because I've seen the reds and the pinks be so in your face. I was expecting kind of the similar results with the purple. But if you are looking for a more simple, not too in your face color, then I think you can go for the velvet burgundy. Even this time around, I didn't have to change much with my hair routine. I kept my oiling and my shampooing schedule the same. Of course, cutting down the frequency of my hair washes because I wanted to prolong the hair color. And yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. Might do something again, so please keep an eye out for that. If I do some drastic transformation, of course I'm going to post it on Instagram, so follow me on Instagram. The link is in the description box below. And if you have any weird hair colors that you have gotten done or any disaster haircuts that you have gotten, because Lord knows I've had my fair share of those, please feel free to read those stories in the comments down below. I would love to read them and respond to them. And as always, follow my journey on all my social media accounts. They'll be linked in the description box below. And as always, stay happy and positive. Bye.